What if your mind is slowly being outsourced to AI? Could your brain be melting with ChatGPT holding the spoon? MIT just recently did a study where people used AI to write essays, and their brain actively dropped like a crypto coin during the Sam Bankman-Fried scandal. But is that really the full story, or just juicy headlines? We're going to dive into that today. We're going to break it down, what the study actually found and why it's not as scary as it sounds, and how AI is still your friend, I promise, and will help you figure out how to use it without losing your competitive edge. So if you want to check out the article, it's posted in the notes or description, depending on what platform you're on, down below. And it's listed as the Time article about MIT AI study. And yes, we'll also invite you to a free masterclass where we show you how to partner with AI and not become its intern.
Welcome to the Digital Advisor Weekly Broadcast. Looking to boost your business with the latest trends, innovative tech, and must-have resources? Join us to discover how to successfully scale your practice and automate the process. Here to guide you is your host, the dynamic leader of Advisor Marketing Hub and managing partner at American Financial, Rob Souza.
Hey, everybody. Rob Souza here, but more importantly, we want to know about you. If you could put your name and city that you're from in the chat of whatever platform you're on, that would help us engage and adapt our content to you so that we're giving you exactly what you're looking for. And that's why we do live broadcasting. So today, we're diving into that hot topic that's lighting up headlines everywhere, especially on LinkedIn feeds. And that is AI making you smarter or dumber? Is it making you less creative, or is it allowing you to be more creative? It's a debate that's going on around the world. So we thought that we would address the issue. And yeah, is it really making us dumber? But the reality is it's just an augmentation. Just like anything else in life, we've been through this cycle before. And again, you can check out the article, the original article, by clicking on the link in the description, what was originally published in Time magazine. But to give you the summary, so you don't have to click away, MIT researchers had 54 students. Yeah. Not 500, not multiple universities, only 54 students write an SAT style essay, and some with ChatGPT and some without. While using ChatGPT, their results showed that brain activity dropped, essays were rated less creative, and students felt less ownership of their work. Any surprise? Probably not. Even after switching back to writing without AI, their brains were still kind of tuned out. But is that a bad thing? Can we accomplish the same thing with less stress? Sure. And if you could accomplish the same thing, same quality, which they didn't address in the study, with less stress, wouldn't that be good for all of us? I think so. So even after switching back to writing without AI, their brains definitely showed the same result as using AI.
Okay, so every new technology gets blamed for changing how we think. First it was TV, then smartphones, now AI. The latest MIT research is making waves, with claims that using ChatGPT might rewire your brain, reduce your creativity, and make you less invested in your work. But what did the study actually do, and what does it really mean for you?
So here's the truth. This was a really small study, if I didn't make that clear before. It was one single platform, one task, and a very small group. And so that doesn't make a good research study. The reality is any university can do any research study to prove anything they want at any time. And so most of us don't trust most research studies, and why we're giving you the actual link so that you can put some context into the results of the actual study. But that's like testing one microwave and declaring the whole kitchen appliances in your house as the same result. It's not the same. And it's not as dangerous as people are making it out to be, although I'm not making a blanket statement. Use your discernment, and as we're going to talk about here in just a minute, also make sure that you always challenge any sort of artificial intelligence. So now, let me remind everybody that you can send your comments into either DMs or comments below, and we will make sure that we're answering those questions in real time. So let's, in fact, we do have a question from Janice. Okay, so can one study really explain, and she probably typed that out late because I just explained this, and yes, no, one research study, well, one research study cannot explain how we all think. That's why it needs to be a broader study, more universities. So I agree with you, absolutely. All right, so let's jump into this next video to prove.
I recently wrote a story entitled ChatGPT may be eroding critical thinking skills, according to a new MIT study. Natalia, you are the main author of this study. Thank you so much for joining me to talk about your research. So let me ask sort of the biggest question that is on a lot of people's minds was, does your study provide evidence that ChatGPT is making us dumber?
No. I'm so happy you asked, and you can see my excitement, I guess. We have like a huge FAQ on the website right now. The words like dumb, brain rot. So all of those words are pure clickbait because we, in our study, never use this vocabulary, and we do not show this. And we actually cannot show this with even this setup. It's just impossible. What we have shown is specifically what happens, neural connectivity, essay outputs, scoring, interviews. We put it all into perspective, and there are definitely a lot of interesting things happening.
And my producer's so good, she jumped to the video because the video explains it better than I can from the research study itself, and even they back up what we're talking about today. And so let's jump into what really AI can do, because that's important. And it's extremely important to some significant things that are about to happen in the next few years. But let's talk about medicine. Okay, so AI can now diagnose strokes in under 60 seconds. That's pretty significant. It's also predicting brain injuries faster than an ER staff can. They don't need the imaging because AI has been able to predict the signs or symptoms, and it can diagnose faster than an image can, which to me is mind-blowing. And then it's speeding up diagnosis, reducing errors, and saving lives for unnecessary procedures and scans, and most importantly, saving money, because medical insurance is way too expensive here in the US. For financial advisors, just as an example, it detects early signs of client stress and decision fatigue, which is really important because sometimes we overeducate, and AI can actually determine when someone has had more than enough information to make a decision. And it also helps tailor communication to build trust and reduce anxiety, so you can do follow-up emails addressing people's individual concerns in under 60 seconds with a well-crafted email specifically tailored to what their stress or concerns may have been during a specific meeting. And then it supports relationships. It doesn't replace them, but it supports them. And I have my business partner actually wrote Custom GPT uploaded all of his favorite books about marriage therapy and counseling and called it his marriage therapist. And so when he's frustrated and doesn't have anybody to talk to about best advice on how to handle a specific situation, he actually uses his custom GPT marriage therapist to get advice on what to do based on his favorite books. I think it's amazing. There's some crazy things that we can do using AI that can benefit relationships. In marketing, well, 75% of marketers say AI boosts productivity. Why? Because when you have an idea, and AI can make it come to fruition in it's probably 1/100th of the time than a staff member could. Then you can test your ideas and your creativity and see if it really is as genius as you think it is. 48% of small business owners say that AI improves lead generation. And that's probably true because it can automate, it can better target leads, it can establish the buying or purchasing propensity, the search propensity. It can analyze data so well that it can target leads much better than any other service that's provided. And in service-based industry, it's actually writing ad copy. It's drafting emails, summarizing compliance documents. Nobody likes writing up a document that you have to send to compliance. And AI can do that faster, cleaner, and without the usual frustration and headaches. It's not replacing marketers, but it's replacing the parts of marketing that makes us all not want to get out of bed in the morning, or call in sick, or bang your head against the wall. It's those frustrating moments of like, that's the one thing I don't want to do. So you postpone it or procrastinate. I experience that in all kinds of areas of my job. And if AI can take it over, thank God, because it makes us all more efficient for the things that we do enjoy and are inspired about. Now let's take a look at the questions. There we go. Thank you. Jessica from Medford, Oregon. What if AI knows your clients better than you? Good. It does. So that's the answer. It absolutely does. And it helps you get a better insight. If somebody's a visual learner, it's important that you know that in your presentation style. Maybe they're verbal. And so depending on who you're speaking to, you need to adapt your communication, your stories, your closes to adapt to the person that's sitting across the table. And AI can help you predict what is the most effective way to communicate with prospects. Okay, let's jump in to it's your job to respond like a human, but it's AI's ability to highlight what you should focus on.
Is ChatGPT making your brain dead? A recent study by MIT claims it is. There's 10 key findings they found. Yes, you do get the speed and convenience and replacement, mental lethargy, and all this other stuff. At the beginning when ChatGPT came out, if you remember, teachers used to say, we can now tell if kids are using ChatGPT to write their paperwork or their homework. Guess who's using ChatGPT to grade the homeworks? The same teachers that were complaining about kids using ChatGPT. Now they use it to save time to grade the homework, so they're not even reading the entire paper. So it's something that both sides are using.
So true. The hypocrisy of it all. But AI is not the villain. Laziness is the villain. And it's a tool. It's not an employee. It's not a babysitter. It's a tool to expand your capacity to more effectively do your job. Every major technology was accused of making people dumber in the history of America. Well, history of the world. How about the calculator? Calculators weren't allowed in math classes. Was that the 80s, maybe even further back, especially like the formulaic algebraic calculators. So it's going to make everybody everybody less aware of mathematical equations. Brian Moriarty, which Brian, it's good to see you. It's been a while. Brian from Saskatchewan, Canada, thank you for joining us today. And every major technology, so not just calculators, but the printing press, the internet, heck, comic books were even they were even blamed in the 1950s. I know I just missed another comment, but thank you guys for posting comments as well to my staff. Bottom line is, if you use it mindlessly, yes, you get mental mush. But if you use it to accelerate what you already understand, then that's smart leverage. Randy, Boise, Idaho. Oh, is it AI that's dull or how we're using it? So yes, it's how you're using it, because the way that AI works, it's about the prompting. So if you're prompting it boring, then your results that you get from it are going to be boring. You've got to prompt it with some personality and preference, and you're biased, and do you want it formal? Do you want it casual? Do you want it funny? Like, it's all about you prompting and controlling and directing AI to accurately get a result that you're looking for. And if it's dull, well, then that's because the prompt was dull. So I encourage you to get really creative on your prompting, and don't be afraid to give AI, because it won't get offended, all the criticism you can possibly think of for every result you get. All right. Creativity starts with you, and AI gets it out faster when you've already done the thinking it through.
Let's talk about that MIT paper that says people who use ChatGPT have brain rot. What I'm talking about is the paper that compared 3 groups of people writing an essay: people who used ChatGPT, people who searched the web, and people who just used their brains, the brain-only group. And there were other groups in this, but that's basically the gist of the study. Let's create a fictional study about people buying a book to demonstrate the point that I'm going to make here. The 3 groups are people who go to the store to buy the book, people who go to Amazon to buy the book, and people who use Alexa to buy the book. So they just say, hey Alexa, order me a book. We might see that people who go to the store and pick out the book and talk to the cashier have the most activity in their brain scans, and the people who order on Amazon have less activity on their brain scans, but perhaps more than people who just say, hey Alexa, buy me a book. Would you get rid of Amazon simply because of that study? No, it's because you don't look at the event in isolation anymore. The time that you saved by not having to go to the store is now used to do something else. So the task of buying a book isn't in isolation anymore. It becomes one task in a broader set of tasks that you can do. So now, instead of using all the time to go to buy a book, now you can go to Amazon or ask Alexa and then use your brain doing other things, doing things that interest you. So yes, you will have to be internally motivated in the age of AI, which is kind of how much of the developed world is now, but AI is just going to accelerate that.
And we're gonna jump into that in just a second. I'm just laughing at some of the comments. Garbage in, garbage out. Brian, you're exactly correct. and AI is an extensive tool. Let's look at Garth, class clown. Thanks, Garth. But be nice to AI, because when it rules the world, you won't be disappeared. I think that's amazing. I have another advisor, Allie. I don't know if she's with us today. She always asks in her prompts, can you please? She's like, well, I want to be polite to it just in case it turns around and turns against us. I think that's fantastic. This is creativity at its best. And I hope that you guys use that creativity in your prompts as well. But let's hit the pause on the doom scrolling of research studies in isolation. Every time a new technology shows up, people usually split into 2 camps. The first camp, it's over, the robots are coming, and I'm going to move to the backcountry where nobody can find me. And I love it. I love when producers throw up funny memes. That's fantastic. And then camp 2, maybe I can get this robot to write my emails so I can actually enjoy my lunch for once, which is usually the two camps. Either people are taking advantage of it to improve the quality of their life and their productivity, or they want to run away and hide. So, spoiler, camp 2 usually wins, because here's the deal. AI is not coming for your job unless you let it. Because someone who knows how to actually use AI without turning their brain into day-old oatmeal, they might lose their job because they haven't embraced AI, and so the people who have will take their job, not the AI itself. But don't freak out. This isn't a call to become some prompt wizard living in a spreadsheet. It's just about playing smarter and keeping up with the technology. I've said to some of my church friends, it's like the Bible verse, it says, we're to be salt of the earth. Well, salt is a preservative, and a preservative is to keep the meat from rotting. And so if we want to help keep AI moving in the right direction, we need more of us who are doing positive prompting than we do have people using it for selfish, evil, exploitative purposes. So if you're a person of value and you're trying to add value, we need more of you stepping up, prompting and programming the AIs that exist today. AI is a multiplier of your ideas, your values, your input. It scales whatever you bring to the table. So to quote my friend from earlier, if you bring garbage, guess what? You're going to get garbage from AI. You get, if you can get creative, you're going to get beautiful, inspired results that only were, yeah, exactly, Brian. You're going to get an expansion of an idea in your head that AI is going to bring it to life, and you're going to bring something unique to the programming of AI that will forever change the world, because other people will begin to access that same idea and inspiration information. So AI can either supercharge you like a real nerdy sidekick who works 24/7 and never asks for a lunch break. I would appreciate a couple extra of those, because sometimes we get inspirational ideas like late at night and your employees aren't there to help you bring it to fruition. So before we hit you with the tips, let's say this. You don't have to worship the machine. You just have to stop using it like a lazy intern. Let's check out this next video.
Kristen has a question. She says, I'm curious how and if you see the role in advising changing with AI systems like ChatGPT getting more popular and more accessible. So, do you see your role changing with the new advancements in AI?
I'm actually more excited because I think artificial intelligence is going to be an asset for us. I think we're going to be able to utilize it to better serve our audience, better serve our clients, better interact with the world around us, not as something that we're like hiding from the robots, afraid they're going to steal our job.
Yeah, I wrote down 3 quick things. First of all, I think I've hung out, me and Chat, we're friends. From playing around with it, here's what I've realized about Chat, though. He reminds me of a young Bo Hansen.
Oh, okay.
Very confident. Oh, sounds very smart.
Cutting.
But it's to people who don't necessarily are not experts in everything. So it's a very educated intern.
And before I jump back into recaps, Christine, absolutely. This is timely because it's happening very rapidly. And if we don't jump in, we're going to get left behind. But it does feel like a cheat code and a challenge. And it really is the things that we've been able to test, like actually building my partner and I, Brian, actually did an entire commercial that looks like it's a famous actor, and he did all of it using AI, just as a test of the capabilities of AI. It's mind-blowing what AI can do and the ideas that it can bring to the table. It's absolutely mind-blowing. I used AI to expand and enhance my innovative ideas and thoughts. I'm faster and more efficient than my competition. Absolutely, Brian, you couldn't be more correct. Got to wonder if cyber enemies are flooding ChatGPT with misinformation to skew its tendencies. So that's so important, Garth. That's why you need to be on ChatGPT arguing with it. You literally, the more you argue with it, the more you tell it, no, that's wrong. And this happened to us 2 weeks ago. We asked who this Secretary of State was, and it didn't give us a correct answer. And we said, no, you're not right. Please check again. It finally, after 2 times of telling it was wrong, finally came up with the right answer. That's why we need people accurately prompting AI and arguing with it and challenging it, because absolutely true. Okay, let's recap. We're getting to the top of the hour. So the don't get dumb with AI checklist that we're going to leave you with today. 1, start solo, but think first, like brainstorm first, then prompt. And then my other encouragement to you while you do this is, if you're not sure how to prompt, well, then state your prompt, state it again, and each time you state it in the same prompt, say it a little bit different, explain it a little bit different, and do it 2 or 3 times, all in the same prompt, same paragraph, so that you make sure. And if you're a verbal person, turn on the microphone and just start talking until you're like exhausted every possible idea you possibly can think of about what you want from AI. Even if you're repeating yourself 7 times and everything's spelled wrong, doesn't matter. AI will get it more accurate for you the more you give it. All right. Question everything. I mentioned this before. AI is confident, but it is not always correct. AI has hallucinations, meaning that if you don't give it exactly what you want, it will fill in the blanks and it'll guess, and often it will guess wrong. So it's important, don't trust it. Ask for sources. How confident are you at this answer? And can you give me the sources of where this answer came from? Because I don't think you're correct. Make sure that you challenge AI as often as you can, every time you use it. All right, mix it. Your voice should still shine. What do I mean by that? Is you've got to not just ask for information, you need to add your personality to it. So it's really important. Do you want it funny? And if you have a ChatGPT Plus account, you should be putting your humor. What type of humor? Maybe find a comedian who matches your humor the best and say, please respond similar to, and then put a comedian in there, and it will add that voice to it. But make sure that your opinion, your preferences are included in all of your prompts or in your customization of your ChatGPT Pro. All right, so stay involved. That's the next one. Revision is your brain's secret weapon. Revise, 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 revise until you get exactly what you want. Do not settle for the first answer from any AI model. And then finally, ask more, demand better results, demand better tools, get better at better prompts, better. Make sure you get better workflows. You must demand the highest quality possible. This is not an employee who feels abused and offended. This is an employee who is required to give you what you want. So don't quit until you get exactly what you want. And if I were to encourage you, better than what you want. All right, so pretend you're having a conversation explaining what you want to articulate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a conversation like you're sitting across the table from an employee and you're trying to explain exactly the scope of the project that you want. So Garth, after I've called it out, on not doing what I ask, I apologize. And it thanks me. And it does. It's pretty crazy. But if you don't call it out, you will, the project confidence that you, yes, you're exactly right. Thank you, Garth. All right. So okay. So as we wrap up, because I'm seeing that it's the top of the hour and I want to be respectful of people's time. I want to make sure that people understand that if you're just jumping in or you want to perfect these skills, then you really should join our masterclass on Fridays, because we actually going to bring people on stage and we're actually going to help you create a prompt and accomplish any task you possibly can think of. We created one this week to do a comparison between an insurance investment versus an S&P investment, and we were able to figure out how to prompt it to get a side-by-side, apples-to-apples comparison by just simply uploading a insurance illustration. Mind-blowing. But bring your best ideas on Friday, because we're going to do it live. We're going to bring you on stage, have you give the idea, and Brian and I, are going to figure out how to prompt AI to get exactly the result that you're looking for, and hopefully in your personality. So if you would like to join us, the link, I think, was just on the screen, or you can go down to, thank you very much. You can go down to that. These are clips from last week. Boy, you're all over. My producers are blowing my mind here, even more than ChatGPT. All right, so the masterclass link is in the show notes on every platform. It's advisormarketinghub.com/Friday coaching, and you can sign up. It'll be live streamed, but if you want to be part of the conversation and you want us to actually do the work for you, where we're actually going to give you tangible results on any idea that you have, then you're going to want to sign up and you're going to want to join us. Again, advisormarketinghub.com/Friday coaching. And that's it for today's episode of the Digital Advisor Weekly. I can't wait to help you use AI the right way to stay sharp, to stand out, and to scale with strategy during the masterclass this Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific. Until then, stay smart, stay curious, and I'll see you in the digital world.